Hey everybody, it's Paul here from Midland Marauders and welcome back to another video. And in this video I'm going to show you how I base up my Horus Heresy Dark Angels with that blasted wasteland that you can see on their bases there. It's something that I tried to recreate from the Warhammer website. So you follow along, it's quite easy to do. A few little steps, some weathering powder, and yeah, check it out. Okay, so the first thing I did was I glued a flying stem to the base and taped it off and base coated in Chaos Black, and I am going to use XV88 all over the base. I'm using an extra large base brush from Citadel as well. So I'll just give it a good shake, open it up, get a little bit of water on your brush there, just dry it off, there's not too much. Take a nice bit up there, get it on your palette, and just go for it. Work it all over the base. We're looking for a nice even coat over the whole thing. You don't need to be incredibly neat or anything. Just lash it on there. It's all about just getting it covered so that when we have the texture paint on, sorry, I forgot what I was saying there, that we'll just have a nice colour underneath through any of those cracks that show. Right, so with that done, I have three bases done. As you can see, that it's not very neat. Now I'm going to come along and use some Agrilian Badland. You can use Agrilian Earth either if you want, and the Citadel texture tool. Again, you don't need to shake this. This is just straight out of the pot. So I use the wide end of the texture tool and just start lashing it on. The great thing about this is, as you can see, the flying stem is sitting on top of the base, so we can just build up to it and put a thicker layer on the edge of it and a thinner layer on as we move towards that the upright stem. So just take your time and work all over the three bases. Now you can see three bases are done. This is the satisfying bit where you got to work your way around with your finger. Just clean off the edge there. Don't worry about it. And just leave them there. Go and get yourself a cup of tea. So as you can see, we've got some really nice cracking textures on it. There are some spots that we missed, but we're not going to worry about that because any spots that we did miss with it, we'll use the weathering powders to hide our little mistakes. So we're going to come along now and give the whole base a wash of some sepia wash. I'm using the one from Duncan Rhodes. You can use Seraphim Sepia from Citadel if you want. It doesn't really matter. Just it's going to bring a bit of contrast to the cracks. And here we just want to lash it on, get it in all over the base. There's no need to be neat and tidy here. It can be as messy as you like. It really doesn't matter. It's all about just getting it on the bases. And this will also help adhere the texture paint, because sometimes these texture paints can have a little habit of flaking or cracking off, and with the wash it will help sort of to help them bond to the base. So we're on to weathering powders now. So I put a piece of paper down just to protect my work surface, and I'm using weathering powders from Cromlech here. So I've got a light mud in one, and the other one then I am using, I forget the name of it, it is dark sand. So I'm going to use the mud one first. I'm using an old brush here for this. Never use a wet brush, and use a brush that you're not going to want to use on paint again. So open up your tub. You can see it's inside the pigment there, the colour of it. And we're just going to get it on our brush here and start applying it. And you don't need to be, don't be afraid of it, just lash it on there. Spread it around as much as you like. Nice thick layer of it. Just work it all over that. Now we still need to be gentle that we don't damage the technical paint, but yeah, I found that it's quite satisfying, this step. We just put it all over it. So now, as you can see, we've done the two bits of weathering powder. So I did come back and just add some of the dark sand to the top. And now I'm going to fix everything with some airbrush thinner and a pipette. So I like using the pipette because rather than going in with a brush and moving the weathering powder around, you can literally just suck it up into the pipette and place it wherever you so wish. And again, we're just going to put lots of this on but very gently. Just let it drop out, and it will just soak into that weathering powder, and it'll run everywhere. See it soaking in there? And just give it a second. Don't think to yourself, oh, I haven't put enough on, because as you can see, as it's spreading, it's all going to just become one big wet blob. So we just keep applying it gently all over, little by little. Watch the wet areas grow until we've got the whole base saturated. This is a very satisfying step, I must say. And yeah, because I was wondering how I was going to affix weathering powders, and the beauty of YouTube is you just go and find a tutorial for it. So just last few areas, little drops here and there. I am using the airbrush thinner from Vallejo, if that is how you pronounce it. So I pronounce it. I'm probably a heathen for saying that, but anyway. Let me just go around. Nearly there. Like, the small bottle will last ages, and it'll do like loads of minis. I did buy another bottle since, but I haven't even opened it yet. So yeah, happy with that. So I did my 3 bases. Now I'm going to come back along with my weathering powder again, the light sand. I'm going to pick out a few areas I want to put this on where I'm not happy with the way it's sort of blended together. And again, I'm going to use the same technique. I'm going to use my old base brush, pick a base, just get in there. And we want to use this sparingly this time, because this is sort of like the highlight on the base. So this is like the final color. So we're just going to lightly dab it on in spots. You can see the base is still damp, so it is going to start soaking in as well on top of that. And I just use my brush to sort of push it around in areas that I want to sort of blend together. Just tipping it on that it's fallen from a height that it looks like maybe it has come from a blast cloud or wind has blown it in. And just gently go over the whole thing with that. Went a bit heavy there, but we're not going to panic. We just leave it as it is, because we come along and maybe put a couple of little grass tufts on afterwards, and that will hide any of our mistakes. So again, lash it on there on our bases.
Okay, so I'm going to come back in with the airbrush thinner. I did sort of go back in with the brush and just sort of push that pigment around a little bit, just to make sure I was fully happy with it. And again, we're just going to apply little drops of this all over it, just to help blend that dark sand in with the mud colour underneath. Again, we don't want to go too crazy here with this, because remember, the base still is damp underneath, and we don't want to sort of reactivate the first layer, and we'll just end up with a big runny sloppy mess. Okay, so with that done, you can see the way the weathering powders have adhered to the base, and I'm quite happy with how these turned out. You can see that it's going to start the drying process, so we'll just leave them there and come back to them later. And this is what they look like when they're fully dry. You can see the cracking through it, and you can see there's a few little spots that I missed there, but we can try and blend it a little bit with our brush when they're dry. Just push that around there, because remember that there is pigment that might be in clumps, and we can just sort of break it up a little bit. Just blend it in as we want it to. Again, just work around all your bases like this, and when you get to this stage, the sense of it just you're just so happy. So see our cracks there. So I'm going to use a large dry brush here to just blend some of those spots that I just wasn't fully happy with. Weathering powders, you can go back in and sort of mess with them a little bit afterwards if you want, doing it this way. But just be really gentle, because you do not want to start brushing them off. So you just want to go in there, light strokes, not big heavy thunderbrush strokes. So we're happy now with how these are looking, ready for some jet bikes to go on them. But let's paint the rims. This is the most satisfying, as I'm sure any of you know, of the whole miniature painting process. When you get to the part where you're painting the base rim, it's just the business. I use Steel Legion Drab for all of my rims, because I just like how it looks. But it's completely up to you what you use. You can just paint them black if you so wish. But the Steel Legion Drab sort of blends everything together. So we just take our time, get lots of paint on our brush, and just work around it. I'm using the flying stem to hold the base, and just as you can see, I'm turning the stem, and that's also helping me turn the base, so it's actually quite handy. So with our rims painted, we're going to come along and we're going to put some grass tufts on it. I had some winter tufts there from the wargame crowd. So we come along. Now these are meant to be adhesive, but look, I always like to err on the side of caution, and we put some super glue on the bottom of them. And with the tweezers, we can just come along and place them wherever we want. I should have left my paper down. So any little spots that I'm sort of not fully happy with, I'll come along and I will pull off a little tuft and stick it on. With that, we have our bases done, and yeah, I like how these look. I think they look pretty cool when you got your Space Marines on them, running around the battlefield, or your jet bikes on them, soaring across the battlefield. yeah, I think they look pretty nice. They look like blasted, irradiated wastelands. And let me know what you think. Thanks for watching.